Welcome back, boys and girls. This is your host, Fidel Cisneros Jr., and this is another episode of Thriving Beyond. And I'm sorry I've been away. I was battling a nasty cold and flu, and then after that, it morphed into this sinus infection. So I apologize. I've been getting messages and emails. Hey, brother, what's up with our podcast episode that we did? And from here on forth, we're going to keep pushing these podcast episodes out. So I apologize and thank you guys for your support. Today's guest is Brandon Farbstein, who is still in his teenage years, but has amplified his voice to reach the TEDx stage. His stature is only 3'8", but yet his message is amplified and larger than life. So I'm honored to have Brandon Farbstein, who has spoken on a TEDx stage in Richmond, Virginia, and he's going to share a story and how bullying has affected his life for the better. Not for the worst, but for the better, and how his message and his presence has helped him to give others out there that have the same disabilities as he does, has given them confidence as well. So listen in as Brandon shares more.
Welcome to Thriving Beyond, the podcast with stories of thriving through when the obstacles are far from few. Here's your host, whose own story has been featured in Chicken Soup for the Soul, Fidel Cisneros Jr.
Welcome, everybody. We have an inspirational guest today with us, Brandon Farbstein. Did I say your last name correctly, Brandon?
You did. Congratulations.
Awesome. I hate it when people chop up my name, but I get it all the time.
I know, right? It's all good, though.
Awesome. So, Brandon, thank you for coming on the show. And Brandon, you are a recipient of various honors and awards, and most notably, you've been the youngest individual to ever receive a Style Weekly magazine Top 40 Under 40. Congrats.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Right on. And you were also honored to be part of CBS's Channel 6 Heroes Among Us. And you were also a featured speaker for TEDx RVA in Richmond, Virginia. Awesome. In 2015. And you were also named a spokesperson of the Virginia Children's Hospital Alliance Project in joining the fight to bring a freestanding children's hospital to Richmond, Virginia.
Absolutely.
So you're doing great philanthropic work out there. And you've also been performing as an actor for 8 years, which is an amazing thing. So you started acting at what age? Holy cow.
So I was about 8 when I kind of caught the bug, and it has been quite a journey since then. So I've been in various musicals, various plays around the Richmond region in roles that are similar to my life and very far from it. And it has definitely taught me so many of the skills that I have today with being so comfortable in front of any audience and any person, with the ability to share my story and share who I really am. And so in April 2015, when I went on the TEDx stage, that was the first time that I truly was in front of people as Brandon Farbstein. And I was able to be vulnerable for the first time and say, hey, I'm this 15-year-old kid, and I have a lot of struggles, and I have a lot of things, just like all of us, that I deal with, that I struggle with, and that make me me. And that was the kind of pinnacle of – that was the tip of the iceberg, where I knew from the moment that I went on that stage, it was going to be the start of the rest of my life. And in the almost 2 years since I've given that talk, I've been able to get in front of thousands of people from various countries around the world. And it's absolutely incredible to receive all the love and all the support that I do on a daily basis. And it's my fuel every day to keep doing what I'm doing.
Amen. Man, I'm loving the direction we're already heading, and we're not even done with the introduction. This is great. So I love keeping it conversational. And at age 2, Brandon, you were diagnosed with a rare form of dwarfism. And I know, preluding the start of this show segment, we were talking a little bit about some of what happens when you're different, right? And
Right.
you have a completely unique perspective on the world. As you are different, you're radical, you're a rebel, and that's why you're on this show, because we love people that are going through that journey of thriving, right?
Absolutely.
Where you're not the status quo, quote unquote, normal person. You are okay with being different, stepping out of the herd mentality. And
Absolutely.
the honor's all ours, brother. So let's sum up what you do in one sentence.
Ooh, in one sentence. All right. That is a bit of a challenge, but let's try it. So I am a 17-year-old speaker standing at 3 feet 9 inches tall. I just grew an inch, which is a very rare thing for me and over the past year. And I try and inspire and impact the world every day as much as I can.
Right on. Once you start tapping into that mature audience, which I'd like to think would be more of the TEDx audience, right? That
Right.
they're truly change makers.
Yeah.
Man, it is awesome just being around them, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's the best. And I mean, the energy that I received while I was on that stage, while I was in front of almost 2,000 people live, was just incredible. And I wish that I could bottle that up and take it in every day, because that would be the best high for me. That feeling of love and that feeling of so much energy for me was just, it's hard to put into words. And so I definitely want to have that in my life as much as possible.
Yes. So anybody out there listening right now, Thrive Nation, if you have not been to a TEDx event, definitely check one out locally. They're all over the world. So even if you're on the other side of the globe, you can find one, and you'll be surprised. If you're loving the content here on Thriving Beyond, you're absolutely going to love the energy and just the ideas that come pouring out, and the openness, the transparency, all that good stuff.
Totally.
So that's definitely something great to mention as we move forward. So what has been some of the toughest life storms, and this is the meat of the show, is where we highlight and really dive into some of the broken hero's journey, right?
Right. Absolutely.
And as an actor, I'm sure you're well versed with Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey, right?
Right.
And it's very powerful how we resonate as a society to these larger than life heroes, but when we see that they're broken,
Yeah. Absolutely.
it's very compelling. So if you could take us from that global airplane 40,000 elevated view up top, give us that global view, and then bring us down to what you experienced. And I know we mentioned some of it, but as you were growing up, like, give us some of the insight and challenges, because I know somebody out there needs this message right now.
Absolutely. And I'm going to try and be as heartfelt and as truthful as possible. And, something that I really love to share is that once we do open ourselves up, and once we do allow that vulnerability that we all have to come out, it's incredible to see how many people truly relate to that, and how many people have similar struggles and similar stories. So I definitely challenge you all to try and share as much of your story as possible. It doesn't have to be all of your successes, because that's not what life is all about. It's not about all the positive and all the amazing opportunities. It's about the journey, and that includes the struggles. So I'm going to take you from the age of 2, when I was diagnosed with an extremely rare form of dwarfism. And when I say extremely rare, let me put that into numbers for you. So out of the 7 billion people populating the globe, I am one of 100 reported ever in medical history to have this form of dwarfism. And there are over 200 forms of dwarfism. And that's something that a lot of people don't realize. People think, a little person just has one type of dwarfism, but that's not the case. And mine is called metatropic dysplasia. And little context about my specific form and my condition is the individuals that have more of a severe form of it usually die before the age of 5 because their spine grows into the shape of a C and ends up crushing their internal organs. And it's very scary. And for me to be 17 years old and say that I wasn't born with a severe form, I have a mild to moderate form where the only health problems right now are bone affected, the growth and arthritis is something that I'm extremely, extremely blessed on. So I was diagnosed with that, and my parents have always taught me that it's okay to be different because there is no two people in this world who are alike. So I've always been taught to embrace who I am and embrace everything that makes me the person that I am. And so that doesn't mean that I've always done that. And as a kid, I got very upset and very angry about the pain that I had when walking with my friends or walking with my family where I wasn't able to keep up, or the fact that I couldn't be a normal kid and play outside, play sports, and be a great athlete. And so a lot of my childhood, I was just upset and I was angry at myself. I was angry at God for making me the person that I am. But I have since then started to embrace myself and started to love every part of me. And that doesn't mean that I don't have days where I'm in a dark place and I'm depressed, because, again, we truly all have those days. And that's a very common thing, and that's okay. And so I have, since childhood, with the help of my parents, with the help of every person on my journey. And when I say every person, that includes the people who try and belittle me, try to tear me down as much as possible, because I don't possess any hate for them. I don't possess any anger for them. What I do possess is empathy, because those are the people that are hurting the most. And we take a step back and we think, but what about the people that are going out and committing these massacres? And I'm not going to say that those people are not people who have done a disgusting thing and should be punished, because that's not the case. But those are the people that need our help the most. So once we are able to focus in on that and focus on, wow, my life is incredible and my journey is at a very high point. So I need to reach out to this person and I need to say, I'm here for you. What can I do to help you? Instead of trying to seek revenge, or instead of trying to have retribution for all the hurt that they've caused you. And I definitely don't want to sit here and say that the comments that I get, whether it be in person or online, that are very harsh, don't hurt me, because that's not the case at all. And I really don't think there's any person who is able to dust off every bit of hate, every negative comment, because that's not what we were made for. We're not meant for positivity 100%. And if that was the case, that would be extraordinary. But every aspect of our life is what has landed us in this moment right here, right now. So learning to embrace every part of you is so important, and something that I try and share onto others as much as possible. But again, I say that there are days that I get very, very low and very depressed about who I am, and I wish sometimes that I could see what it's like to not be in pain every day, whether that be physical or emotional. And I want to know what it's like to be at a normal height, quote unquote, and to blend in. But if I was like that, I wouldn't have the opportunity and the gifts that I've been given to go out, share my message with the world. And I really like to think that the reason that I was put here on this earth is to inspire and impact every day. So that's the reason that I wake up in the morning. That's the reason I put on my clothes and I do as much as I can every day that I'm here on this earth to try and make a difference. And for a lot of people, that could be overwhelming. And they say, oh, I'm not anyone important. I'm not the president. I can't make a change. And let me tell you, that is far from the truth, because it doesn't start with anyone else but us. It has to be every day of our life that we build up and we build up and we do at least one thing to make a difference and to spread the love, spread the positivity. And that could be as simple as holding the door open for someone at a restaurant who you see is in need, or reaching out to someone that you know is having a bit of a rough time and saying, what can I do to help you? I'm here for you. And that's all that a person needs sometimes from someone who's been on the receiving end of that. Something as simple as a gesture like that could mean everything and the world to someone. So do everything that you can to make a difference every day. And it's all about the domino effect, that ripple where you reach out to someone, then they reach out to someone, and it grows until it's all around the world. So it starts with you, and don't think that you can't be the change, because it's all about what you could do today to affect your tomorrow. So the first time that I was truly able to be vulnerable was that TEDx talk that I gave in April 2015. And since then, my journey has been full of constant ups. And of course, there are ups and downs every day, but I don't focus on those. I focus on all the amazing people, all the amazing blessings that I have in front of me every single second that I'm here on this earth. And I am so blessed and so thankful for everything that is part of my journey. And I cannot wait for all of you and every single person that has been on this path to see where the future takes me.
Amen, brother. And it is, man, isn't it a beautiful thing when your story gets confirmed and everything that you've been doing, in behind the scenes, and you have that one shot and then you're in the limelight and everybody confirms, gives you the big thumbs up that
absolutely
keep doing it, keep going.
And I mean, I went into it. I went into this TEDx talk not really knowing what was going to come out, and that's some advice that I really like to give to anyone, that you can't expect to go into a situation with a specific outcome, because truly anything could happen. But you have to stay optimistic, and you have to say, this is going to go amazing and I'm going to make a difference. And whatever your dreams and your goals for that specific situation are, you have to keep reminding yourself those, not the what ifs, not the negatives that could go wrong. Because anything go ahead.
I was going to say, we get so wrapped up in the, paralysis by analysis. It's just...
Yes, absolutely, man.
Right.
And so it's all about the mindset that you have going in. So whether you're an entrepreneur starting out on a new venture, or you're about to propose to your future wife, whatever it may be, go into the mindset of, I'm going to do greatness. I am greatness. And I will be greatness, because that's what you are, guys. You are capable of being whoever you want to be, as long as you allow yourself to be that person.
Man, that's the biggest hang up, dude. You said it right there, is the belief that the outcome is going to be great because we are involved in the process.
It's all about the mindset. It really is.
Right. And greatness, I feel, needs a new redefinition when you feel that way. Greatness is just embracing imperfection. You're going up there and you're embracing the moment, however whichever way it leads. I mean, I could paraphrase so many stories. If you guys have watched 8 Mile, I mean, Eminem, of course, we see all the highlights in the movie somewhat, but of course he bombed how many times before he finally had the courage to do what he was meant to do in the world, right?
Exactly. And I mean, looking at whoever your hero, whoever you look up to, at their life story, I guarantee you they didn't wake up one day and their life automatically was perfect and they didn't have any struggles. And every single person who does realize that we all truly have something, your perspective will change 360. It will turn around and make your life so much more meaningful and make every moment a moment to remember and a moment that truly impacts you.
Yep. Yep. And it's amazing too, because you've also had the privilege to do several TV spots. And I know that's a big passion of yours.
Absolutely.
You have a big audacious goal of being a broadcast journalist, correct?
I do.
Awesome. So we love hearing about big audacious goals and how possible they are. And it's funny how, Brandon, sometimes we aim for those big audacious goals like the sun, the stars, and these little ones that we saw bigger before prior to become so much smaller and they become attainable. Isn't it funny how that perspective shifts everything?
Absolutely. And once we do have a different perspective, that can mean everything to get that goal. So it's all about what you do with that mindset and what you do have to help you achieve what you want tomorrow.
I'm loving the way this is unfolding. So was there one specific aha moment that like you can absolutely highlight, that you said this was that threshold moment where I knew from here forward my mindset was going to be this way, or something that you remember, a big aha moment?
I definitely would have to go back to being on that TEDx stage again. And it really was the pinnacle of change for me. And I cannot even begin to imagine what my life would be like right now without that moment. And the story of how I got that is really, really interesting. And it has a great message to it. So let me tell you. I was in the airport with my family going to visit some family in Florida. And this was in October 2014. And I was on my mobility device, which looks like a Segway. And people usually stop me and say, "That's so cool," and make small talk with me. So there was a woman who did just that. And I didn't think anything of it. This is very common for me whenever I'm out in public. And so we started talking, and she said, "Wow, that's so cool. Tell me about your story." And turns out she is one of the most successful TED Talk coaches in the world. And it's absolutely incredible how people come into our life exactly at the moment we need them the most. And it truly makes me think about the bigger picture, that if I wasn't in that exact moment at that exact time, I would never have met her. I would never have gotten the chance to change my life. And I don't know where I would have been. So even the moments that hurt us the most, they are meant to be in our life for a reason. And they will make us become a person who is stronger, who can thrive in any situation, and who can overcome anything.
I'm already intrigued. I got some questions for you once we get off the show. So,
Awesome.
For those of you out there listening, subscribe, rate, and review, and definitely connect with Brandon Farbstein. And where can they go and ask you questions, brother?
Absolutely. One of my favorite things in the world is being able to connect with you guys, and being able to give you advice or tips or share stories is something that gives me purpose and gives me so much love. So whether that be on social media, I love Facebook and Instagram. So on Facebook, you could just search my name, Brandon Farbstein, connect with me on there, or on Instagram, my username is just my last name. So at Farbstein, Farbstein, or I have a website that is www.brandon.world. You could send me an email. Would love for you guys to watch the TEDx talk that I gave, learn a bit more about my story and how I became the person that I am today. Would love to connect.
Awesome. So let's get into the best advice that you've received, speaking of coaches and mentors, that have helped shift your life. So it could be a coach, mentor, friend, family member. Any big advice that you received?
I would say number one is embrace and use what you have, not what you don't have. So focus on everything that you have in your heart, that you have in your mind, and how you could use that to be the change that you want to see in your life. And so stop focusing on what you don't have and the people around you that you're envious of, because you're never going to be able to get past the person that you are right now if you continue to have that negative mindset. Go into every situation saying this is going to be the greatest thing ever. And even if it's not, even if it tears you down a bit, know that you can get past and you will become such a stronger person through any situation. And I was having a conversation on Facebook Live last night about how to overcome any obstacle. And people say, well, what happens if something absolutely horrible happens where your family member dies, or you feel like a traumatic event in your life will prevent you from doing anything else and that you're going to be stuck there forever? Let me tell you, if you go into that situation with the mindset of this is going to tear me down and I'm never going to be able to get back up, that's exactly what's going to happen. But if you turn that around and say, you know what, this is a really crappy situation where this is a bit of an obstacle and a bit of something that I'm going to need to work really hard to get past. But once I do get past it, I'm going to look back and I'm going to say, wow, I can't believe that I was able to do that. And you will be amazed about how much resilience, how much strength, and how much passion you have inside of you through any situation, through all situations. So just know that going into any situation with the proper mindset will mean everything for your success.
So true. Brother, you are speaking the Thriver's code. Everything you're saying. It's funny how everybody on the show that's gone through extreme adversity has the same framework.
100%. And those are the people, we truly are the people that will be able to change the world, all of us together. So once we're able to do something every day, a little thing, it will add up and it will be such a dramatic way for us to overcome all the hate in the world that we constantly see on the news or on Facebook, whatever, terrorist attacks and all these shootings and these horrible, horrible events. We can overcome that because it's us that determine our future. It's not up to anyone else.
That's right. That's right. In one moment, 1 second, you can make that decision. So right now, for somebody wanting to make that choice, and you can give them 3 steps to take right now, today, to get over that adversity. What would those 3 steps be, Brandon?
Number 1, I would say have faith. And that means something totally different for each person, whether that be having faith in a higher power or having faith in the people around you. But I would say the most important thing to have faith in is yourself. Have faith in yourself that you will be able to overcome any obstacle that comes before you, whatever, how big or how small that may be, because you can and you will, as long as you tell yourself that it's okay that I'm in this situation and how am I going to get out of it a better and a more stronger person. Number 2 is surround yourself with as much positivity and as much love as you can. And so what I'd like to say about life is that all of our lives are very short, and that doesn't mean that we can't have a successful life. We can't have a life where we're truly happy. But again, we can't have positivity 100% of the time. That's impossible. No human will ever be able to attain that. And that's okay, because negativity is what helps us strive and helps us learn and grow. So what you can do is focus on all the positives that you have and stop focusing on those negative situations, those negative people. But let's say you're in a job that you've been in for a couple of years and you realize how truly miserable you are. Let me tell you, you can change everything. All it takes is saying to yourself, I need to get out of this environment. I need to become happier more often, because there's no reason that anyone should be miserable more than a bit of your life. So do whatever you can to try and have as many positive situations, as many positive people that love you for you, and not for what you are, not for what you have, but everything that makes you who you are. And number 3 is don't let anyone else win. Don't let anyone else tell you you can't do it or whatever it may be, because it's up to you. You are stronger than you know. And I guarantee that for every single one of you. So focus in on your brain and your situation and what you're going to do to get out of that adversity, and how you're going to become a better person, and what you're going to do to make something good out of a terrible situation. Because once we do that, it will enhance our lives so much.
Man, you are adding so much value to this episode. Thank you, Brandon, for sharing everything you have. And like you mentioned, so thank you, brother, for coming on. And one last time, if you could share where to best connect with you.
Absolutely. So I love social media. So Facebook, just search my name, Brandon Farbstein. Instagram, it is at Farbstein. So my last name, Farbstein, or on my website, www.brandon.world. Would love to connect with you guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandon. It's been a slice, and I wish you the best. And I can't wait to see you as a broadcast journalist in the near future, my friend.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much for having me. Can't wait to be along the journey with you.
Right on. Thank you for listening. And as always, keep going, keep growing, and keep thriving, because it's way better than just surviving.
Thanks for listening. For recaps and to claim bonus gifts, head over to thriving beyond podcast.com. Keep thriving.